What's going on, everybody? So this is another part of a series of interviews that I've been doing with some of the collaborators on the new Superstars album. I am actually sorry that I had to skip on the last 2 or 3 singles. Actually, I can't even remember. I've been so mad busy, which is really good. Like, I've been actually doing a lot of really cool things that I am preparing to show you guys during the next shows. The next one is gonna be in Portugal soon. But yeah, right now I have a really special guest, because for me, this guy, I mean, I'm not like trying to say that nobody else on the record is. Everyone to me on the record is a superstar, and that is the reason why I call this record Superstars. Yeah, on this interview, I have a guy who's a bit of a hero for me. La entrevista no la puedo hacer en español, papi, con un pana de Suecia. I can't do this in Spanish. I'm sorry, man. I'm about to talk with a friend of mine from Sweden. I think he can't do Spanish. I cannot do Swedish. Tack. That's it. And there he is. Jørgen Munkeby. I'm not even sure if I pronounced that correctly, but he is the one and only from Shining. Where is the button? He just made a request to join, and I cannot find it. How do I get... Okay, there you go. Instagram, be nice. Yes. I said yes. Instagram can be a little bit tricky. Okay, there we go. Yeah. Awesome. What's going on, bro? You're right.
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I was just here trash talking you while you were joining, you know. Like, I have to talk to this guy now. No, seriously. All right, everybody. For those who know, then you know. And, you know, be in awe of the presence of Mr. Munkeby joining us from Sweden. And for those who don't know, this guy right here is a hero of mine and a hero to lots of friends of ours. Genius composer, lead member of the band Shining from Norway, doing the live keyboards for Norwegian legends Emperor. I mean, come on, dude. Yaga jazzist. Yeah, bro. I'll be your PR person for life, man.
yeah. You can do that. I don't have anyone better than you.
Cheers, man. Well, welcome. How's your day today? What are you getting ready for?
I was just practicing some keyboard stuff for the upcoming US tour that I'm starting tomorrow. So, or flying out tomorrow. So you know, it's been a busy few weeks with our song, and then the Metallica support show that I did in the weekend with Epica, and then heading out to the divided states of America tomorrow.
Divided States of America. That's really well put. Well, man, you know, you can always play for the people. That's what matters. No matter where they're from, no matter what the governments do, it's always the people. And the U.S., have to say, has a very healthy metal scene. So obviously, Emperor should be doing really well there.
Yeah. It's going to be awesome. Let me try something. Let me see if we can...
Oh, look at you. Of course you're wearing that jacket. Yeah, of course you're wearing that jacket.
I wanted to show it off to you. Just show you what you can do.
Oh, God. One day I'll find it. It's like, dude, my favorite jacket of all times is the one that Jørgen has.
Yeah,
beautiful.
Look at that jet.
Yeah, see, it makes you look like, you know, it looks like you've been to the gym. You know, it's cool for Instagram.
It's too big for Instagram. When I get close, you can't see that.
You gotta look like Captain America.
Yeah.
So I think it's gonna fit in the States.
Yeah. And I also put red lights in the back just for
It fits the Shining and the new Zardonic image thing. That's cool.
That's what I was thinking. So anyone, can we see here if anyone here has listened to this new song? How can we do that? Can you see the...
I'm looking at some Voicians joined. Mia from Finland joined. My good friend Juan Carlos Orellana, also known as Cactus, hell of a death metal vocalist. By the way, I'll show you some of the stuff he's done. It's really cool. It's like a friend of mine from like one of the people who pretty much introduced me to the world of metal, so to say. And also very good friend to have in South America. Like he knows all the right people. So who knows? I think like the Emperor already. You guys already toured South America, I think. Yeah, you guys are. That's over. Yeah.
We did a tour. A year ago.
He was there. He was for sure there. Now that I remember, yeah.
It was fucking awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, South America has a super healthy metal scene too. The only people who cannot get this through their numbskulls is the mass media. Like according to all the radio stations and the TV, metal just does not work in South America. Like no matter what Sepultura has done, no matter if we bring, I don't know, 30,000 people in my hometown just to see the Iron Maidens, which is not even the original band, is the female tribute, which is amazing actually. Like they did, it's like looking at Iron Maiden, but like really attractive version, but everything really well played. But you know what I mean? It's not Iron Maiden, and we had 30,000 people to go see them in my hometown. So we have all these shows, and the mass media still looks at it like, oh my God, we didn't know it was possible. Yeah, it's been possible for decades. What
I find interesting is that when I play with metal stuff, either my band Shining or Emperor, I feel that the places where they have, let's say they have like a primal history, where it's either in New Zealand where they have the Aborigines or whatever they're called, or in Mexico where they have the Aztec Indians or whatever they're called, with they have the same kind of rituals, and they have the same kind of primal history as we did with the Vikings in Norway. So there's this kind of connection. So you see, when we play this music, we just go wild and get the old, primal.
It invokes something for sure. There's a lot of that energy in South America and Central America for sure. That's a very interesting way to put it. I never thought about it like that.
Yeah, I think there's. I see that. I think of it always in those countries, and I just like feel that you can see it in their faces. They just like turn. they get the old primal stuff in them. Yeah.
We start holding our invisible oranges.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. Like invisible oranges are universal.
Yeah.
Yeah, good stuff, man. Well, I'm glad you guys had a good time. You deserve all the good things. And like a good friend of mine said, a really good musician also from Caracas, he moved to Finland. Like he told me the first time he saw Emperor live, like to him, it was like his words were like, dude, like it was like watching Led Zeppelin or something. I think I would actually say within the black metal world, like Emperor pretty much is something like that. It's very, because it was always very special. They were, the complexity in all the composition, the execution was always excellent. It was symphonic, but still not cheesy. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I like a lot of cheesy symphonic stuff. I'm a huge fan of all the Dimmu Borgir stuff and all the Cradle of Filth. But you know what I'm saying? Emperor had something. There was something else that allowed them to sort of delve into some like more orchestral arrangements, I would say. But it still retained something that was very unique.
Yeah. So I think in Norway we're pretty good at making unique stuff, but we're not very good at making commercial stuff or selling stuff. So let's say Sweden, they're really good at making stuff that sells. They have everything from ABBA to Max Martin, the producer, or Robin, or Arch Enemy, or like they have so much great stuff that they make that sells. Yeah. In Norway, we make crazy stuff that don't sell.
Well, you'd be surprised though, because I think that's part of the appeal. Because the Norwegian scene is a bit more like it as opposed to being a push, it's a pull.
Yeah.
And that has also there's value in that. You know what I'm saying?
The guy, the lead singer in Emperor, he said that he's not playing hard to get, he's playing hard to want. That's a good one,
There
right?
you go. There you go. So only those who know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I want to tell you something with the new song. We spoke briefly yesterday or 2 days ago, and I just remembered that although I wrote maybe all the lyrics, but you know who came up with the title?
That was me, right? You know what's even funnier?
The whole
I have to apologize for this because this was a beautiful going. Yeah, sorry. Say that again.
The whole hook line.
Yeah.
Raise your glasses, I had that, but Pop and Sniff, Rave until the apocalypse was you. So
yeah, I wanted to give people. I mean, man, let's be real. This is all in the back of our heads. Like when this whole war thing started, I had like panic attacks. I wanted to sell everything, buy myself a bunker in like Argentina or something. Like my friends know, I called all of them. I was like, dude, I'm out. Like I'm done with this. Like how is it possible that Europe does not get over war? You know. But I mean, whatever. I don't want to delve too much into that right now. But what I realized after reading so much into it is like, dude, we've been so much closer, so many more times. And this is governments, mind you. I don't blame countries or whatever. It's all governments and people, fat people in suits fighting over phone calls and then sending their brainwashed armies to kill themselves. And then we are the ones who have to suffer it. I love all the people equally, no matter where they're from, Ukraine, Russia, US, whatever. Yeah. But I hate all of your governments equally. I want to make that clear. That includes everybody. But yeah, when I look into the beginning of it, I was like, man, we've been so much closer so many other times. And I'm like, okay. And then I started reading into like super volcanoes and all this stuff. And I'm like, dude, we are like potentially so screwed. And then I'm like, nah, I'm just gonna have a fun time. And that's what I was like, okay, rave until the apocalypse. The funny thing is, there's the drum and bass producer, also a good friend of mine, Mus, also very good. He actually has a track. And I swear to God, Mussy, I am so sorry, Habibi, bro. I had no idea. But it's cool. I think it was a beautiful coincidence. He has a song called Rave Through the Apocalypse. So maybe I've been thinking about like mixing those together in a sec, so Rave Through the Apocalypse and then Rave Until.
Otherwise, Rave Until, that's like before. Yeah. And then he'll die. When it happens, he'll take over.
Yeah, exactly. When it happens, it's like, oh, I survived. Okay, now we rave through the apocalypse. I mean, what else can we do, really?
That's cool.
I realize we're going to be one of the most like useless professions after the apocalypse, right? You know how people always like, I mean, I'm not saying everyone is like that, but I have seen this so much, and it always angers me when people look down on like the workers, the builders, the people who are like, like getting their hands dirty and sweaty. I always heard that. I'm like, dude, those are the people who build your homes. Well, who do you think's gonna be the most sought after, after everything ends? It's the builders, man. The builders, the farmers, all the workers. Those are the guys. We're just musicians, man. We're having like an okay life because we live in an era of peace. Yeah. Otherwise, it's all the workers, man. Like those are the people who truly will inherit the earth, in my opinion.
How about the stock market traders and those? They will be even less use for those,
Probably. Oh, everyone will just hate them, right? At least I guess they'll say, hey, we need a break. Let's make a rave. Yo, like you're a DJ, you play the sax. I mean, well, maybe if I can get some DJ stuff to work, but at least maybe I'll grab like some cans and I'll start playing drums.
It's always been music, and there's always been stories. There are always I think even there's always been room for that. So even after the apocalypse, there will be need for a party. There will be need for music. There will need for something to take our minds off all the shit. Yeah. There will not be
definitely no need for stock traders. Sorry for all my friends who are doing stock trading.
Yeah, no need for that.
Good stuff. Well, at least I'm hoping that you're satisfied with the results of the song. I was really happy to have you on the record. I want to do more cool stuff. People seem to really like it. Like I think it's been one of the tracks, if if not the track that had the most positive reaction so far in terms of, like, you know, numbers and comments and whatnot. I mean, I don't know what that translates to. You know, one platform says something, the other one says something else. So it's all a lottery. But hey, it's making waves, which is cool.
It seems like on this one, I've seen good reactions and playlist additions and stuff on several platforms. It seems to be universally kind of liked, instead of just having one, you know, flash in one place. I love that, and I do love. I must say, I fucking love the mix. It's like super clear and also punchy and loud as fuck. So I have no idea how you're doing that. Do you have is there a magic button that I can
I'll tell you, so you don't have to hire me anymore. I'll tell you. I mean, I actually learned a couple of tricks. Like, there were some things that I already know. I have my own approach to things, but, you know, whenever I hear somebody doing something better than I do, I try to learn from them. Like, I don't have, well, I like to believe that I don't have that much of an ego to believe that nobody can teach me anything. Everyone has an ego, but, you know, sometimes so many people are limited by that. I've also been guilty of it myself. So now I'm like, hey, if I don't know something, I'll ask. You know, there's nothing wrong with asking for help. And our good friend Pythias from the Netherlands, for those, I think almost all of my followers should know who he is. But if you don't know, he's a hell of a drum and bass producer, really good friend, black metal fan as well. So he is like, he hits all the right checkpoints. Yeah. So he had a couple of tricks that they were actually deceptively simple. It's one of those things that you're like, yeah, of course, why didn't I just do that before? Yeah. But sometimes it takes a guy like that, you know, and that's what makes the whole thing so clean. It's basically, you know, doing the right amount of side chaining. There's a couple of tools that are very, they basically take side chaining to the next level. You probably know what Shaperbox is. No. So Shaperbox allows you to do not just with side chaining, like it has a volume shaper. That's one of the many tools, but you can do like a crush shaper, distortion shaper, filter shaper, all sorts of things. So you can trigger that with sidechain, or you can also like draw your own envelopes. So when you're using the sidechain function, you have multi-band sidechaining. So you can get the top of the snare to cut through with a very short sidechain. And you can get the bottom to cut a little more, or the top to cut a little more. Like, you can basically shape the groove as much as you want. You have up to 3 bands, which I think is more than enough for side chaining, and that is really, really useful. That comes so handy, because that's what allows the snare and the kick to just push through and sound so clear. So a lot of people are like, how do you get that snare to sound so good? It's not just the snare. Like, it's also about how you're mixing it in. And
is it called Shaperbox?
Shaperbox. Yeah. I'm not endorsed by them or anything. I actually paid for it. So, hey, if anyone works for, you know, for cable guys, shoot me an email. I paid for your stuff.
So basically, you're
recommending it because it's good. So
you're using that on, let's say, like the mix box or some kind of bus, and then you trigger it with the kick and the snare, so it kind of ducks.
What I'm doing recently is I have 2 mix buses. Well, not 2. Yeah, just one main mix bus where basically everything is sidechained, but Pythias does take it to a bit of he takes it a bit further. Like, he has a different bus for all, like, the tops, all the hats, what he calls his hat soup, which literally is like a hat soup. It's like 20 layers of hats, but that's how he gets like that energy up there. So he shapes that differently. You can do that for sure. I mean, I guess just depends on whether that would be necessary or not. But it definitely helps. Yeah. And you sidechain the kick and the snare in, and then all of that goes into a master bus. But I have minimal processing in the master bus these days.
Are you ducking the high end, or which of the bands are you ducking when the snare hits?
For the snare, it's the whole thing, but you do it super short. Like, basically, you shape the lower band, you know, based on the shape of the snare. Like, it shows you the waveform of the snare, so you know exactly you see the lower frequencies and the higher frequencies. It's super efficient.
Where the snare is, basically.
Exactly.
Oh,
exactly. So you can make it super short. You can also sidechain vocals differently because, you know, the idea is that, and I think this is something that applies to engineering and to everything in life, basically, also to, like, you know, to how you're dressed, how much perfume you wear, or how, you know, or graphic design or any of this, you know, first world luxury problems, which is if you do something and people can notice it too much, then it's too much. So it should be subtle. I think if the side chaining is too much, then you sort of, you lose the vibe as well.
Yeah, because with you it sounds like you're not doing the side chain pumping stuff that much. You're doing like super straight back. And
it's just so the snare cuts through and that's it.
You're doing the same with the kick, so you're finding where, I'm guessing your kick is mostly in the bottom end with the smack. Are you like doing both of them, or are you opening?
When I did Rave Until the Apocalypse, I was actually using a cheaper version of Shaperbox, which is a Nicky Romero branded. That's how I discovered the main plugin. I had never paid attention to it. Nicky Romero made a plugin with cable guys called Kickstart. Yeah, that's essentially Shaperbox, but just for volume. So Shaperbox is Kickstart on steroids, but it's not just volume shaping. It's filter shaping, distortion shaper, like reverb, everything. Basically, they just keep developing tools that you can use within Shaperbox. And
isn't Kickstart more like an LFO thing?
No, it's an envelope shaper. It's a volume shaper. So
it's not triggered by. Are you triggering by audio, or are you triggering it by?
You can trigger it with audio or with MIDI. MIDI is definitely tighter, but you know, in my experience, audio is fine. Yeah. It just depends on the DAW. It did happen to me like a couple of times, for example, on FL. As much as I love FL, I don't want to trash talk anybody, but FL does have a couple of issues sometimes with a couple of plugins. Yeah. Also, VST3 is not the best code out there, so if you can still get VST2, at least in my experience, that always works generally better. I mean, a lot of VST3s, they still work good, but I think Shaperbox is both in VST3 and VST2, so... So
you're using VST2 when you can, are you?
Right now, yeah. And right now I'm using Shaperbox, but I started using Shaperbox like last week. So for our song, I actually did Kickstart. Like last week, I learned that because I did this collab with Pythias for we did a collab remix for Cell Dweller. It's happening.
Yeah. Cool. But the Kickstart is full range. It's not multi-band.
Yeah. That's a thing. You can actually band limit it, but it's just I think it's just like the lower band. You can limit it to the lower band, which should be enough, honestly. Like if you don't want to spend that much, and I think that's enough. But Shaperbox just gives you so many more. Like you have more control over the shape. You can do whichever shape you want. So it's a bit more.
Like $100. So that's pretty cheap.
Right now it's on sale. Yeah, get the whole thing. It's on sale. Yeah. Dude, like, I think these guys should give us a couple of NFRs. Come on.
Come on, give it.
Yeah, go ahead. Well, it's good. You know, that's the best publicity anyone can get. Just do, you know, a job well done, because people just talk about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, that's cool. Yeah. No, so thank you for, I told you yesterday, but I'm going to tell the followers here that when you've done several remixes and also mixes for us. And if I go back and if I want to listen to some of the Shining songs, and if there is a remix, like for instance, I Don't Give a Fuck, which is still on our top 5 on Spotify. If I listen to that, I listen to your remix. So I told you again, if anytime you want to remix a song by us,
there's gonna be a new one, it's gonna be even tighter. After everything I learned from Master Pythias, man, he's such a control freak. It's so funny. But I let him do his thing because I know that I will learn from him. So I can tell you, after doing a collab with him, it's like I feel like my mixes are right now at least 20 to 30% better. So thank you, Pythias. For real, it's been a pleasure working with you, bro. It's I love this guy. He's really like family to me. He's such a good guy, hardworking, obsessed about detail a little bit too much sometimes, but hey, that's what makes a good record, right?
That's a lot of us are like that. I'm like that too.
Yeah.
I actually have started practicing because I'm like the OCD guy. If I see like 2 pens on my desktop and they're not parallel, I put them parallel. They can't be like that.
Man,
So,
you have no idea. Like if you look at my studio, it's like, I mean, there's one thing that I still, you know, because I just don't have the time sometimes to. What? Sorry.
I mean, I have OCD, but it's still a mess. Like, but my point is that I'm starting to. I've decided to. I love to practice. I'm going to practice how to leave stuff.
Accept chaos a little bit.
Right, and also practice how to. Let's say you're working on the mix, and like I do that a lot of times when I have to go home to get the kids and then suddenly things are crashing, and then
yeah, sorry.
and then I kind of
just said, can you like do something so I know that you're reading me? I'm reading everybody in every language. I just, you know, but yeah, sorry, keep going.
Yeah. So the thing is that you know how it is when you gotta go, but you still have stuff to do and the mix is unfinished. It's just such a bad feeling. But being able to just say it's not a problem because I can just open it up anytime later and do it. But it just the feeling is like I gotta do it now, and you can't. I won't be able to get the mix done in one day. So just like. It's just stupid to think about, but that's the stuff that I want to practice. I want to be the guy who is super focused when I work, and then I can just like snap my finger and I let it go. But I'm not like that now. Yeah.
It takes a while. I mean, in my case, if this helps you, I mean, obviously I cannot do it all the time, especially right now that I'm preparing for pretty much the first dates of the world tour. Like it's a bit like, you know, 2 dates a month, so I get to go and come back. But like the October, November is getting a little like November is basically full. I'm not scheduling anything in the studio for November. But what I try to do every day, it's not like too strict because then it doesn't work. But I split my day in about 3 equal parts, like 8 hours, you know. So 8 hours for sleeping. If I sleep less, then that's that. If I sleep more, then I take a bit from the other. You know what I'm saying? So it's 8 hours for sleeping, 8 hours for deep work, and 8 hours for everything else, like going to the toilet, showering, eating, going out for a coffee, maybe playing some video games. And if I am more inspired, then I work a bit more, because to me, my job is, sometimes it's like a video game. Sometimes my ears are like, they've had enough, and I'm like, and then maybe I'll take a couple of days where I'm like, okay, I'm going to do nothing except play Death Stranding. And then I come back and I work. You know what I'm saying? Like I still juggle a little bit between that, but yeah.
I get it. I didn't do that before, but you know, having 2 kids, it kind of automatically becomes a bit like that, because when you go home, they're like they don't give a shit if you just came home playing for 60,000 people in Stockholm. They don't give a shit.
They want you to be dad.
You know, you're gonna play with this thing now. I got a stuffed kitten, and that's what we're gonna play with now. So fuck off, you know. It's like,
I don't care who James Hetfield is right now. I'm sorry, Dad. Come play. Yeah.
So that's
I guess it keeps you grounded, right?
I think it's good because I'm never gonna like my ego's never gonna run away from me with stuff like that. You know, I mean, it definitely keeps you
for the most part, everyone goes through that phase. A lot of people I think they have either a lot of ego in the beginning, and there's always something that happens when it just inflates too much and life just brings you down. Doesn't matter how much money you have at the moment, doesn't matter if you're not that successful, doesn't matter if you're like, there's always something that happens that just breaks you down. And humbles you, like, you know, it's something that you cannot escape. And that's when you're like, yeah, this is bullshit.
I've met quite a few super successful people in my life, more and more actually, and I don't see them being more happy. I actually see them oftentimes being less happy. I'm still gonna chase whatever I'm chasing, but I am pretty sure that if I was a person who was able to have a normal life, whatever normal life is, but our life is not normal, not mine, not
Yeah.
yours. But I'm pretty sure we would, you know, I think that is the best. If you can have a normal life, I guess you're more happy because we're just like fucking working our ass. So I'm super happy when I love what I'm doing, but I can see that there's no end. Like you feel like if I just can get this song better, if I can just learn how to sing, if I can just learn to get the fucking side chain kick sounding better, then I would be happy. But you're not happy because when you do that, there's a fucking
effect, I think I guess, you know, as long as you don't I don't know how to explain this because I don't consider myself like a guru or whatever or the wisest guy out there, but don't ask me why. I think after I was forced to stay alone during the pandemic at home, and I wanted to basically rip my own head off. And after this whole thing with the potential risk of a full-blown total war and whatnot, and you know, and I started reading more and more about Stoicism. I also don't think they are the end all be all. I think there's a lot of, you know, I also don't agree with everything, but it was one thing where I found somewhat of a refuge in. And don't ask me, they're like a switch flipped in my head at some point. I managed to just, like, I'm content, I'm happy, I'm thankful. I don't let that depend on anything else except, like, I don't even want to say myself, because what am I really? You know, it's just like I'm just content. I'm just going through the journey, and you know, I try to share as you know, the best energy I can. I'm also not like stuck on being always positive, because I think that's also really unhealthy. Like, you know, when shit's bad, shit's bad. Accept it. But but I don't.
What is Stoicism? Like, I can see here what Google says it is, but what part of it helped you?
Well, basically, Stoicism is a bit of a, how do you call it, like a doctrine or a philosophy? Yeah.
Stoicism is a school of philosophy that hails from the ancient Greece and Rome in the early part of the 3rd century BC. It is a philosophy of life that maximizes positive emotion, reduces negative emotions, and helps individuals hone their virtues of character. So that's all good, but what?
It's essentially developing emotional intelligence in times of crisis. So it became a bit of a trend during the pandemic. I was like, okay, what is this? And I was, you know, like I said, I don't agree with everything. I think there's a lot of, sometimes they focus a little bit too much on virtue. And I think, I can agree with some things, but in other cases, I'm like, hey, you know, let yourself have also a bit of a fun time too. Like, you can't have a stick up your ass all the time. You know what I'm saying? Because the Stoics are also a little bit, they focus so much on virtue that they completely forgo pleasure. And I can understand why. I also don't agree that you should only chase pleasure, but you know, I have a healthy balance, I would say. You know, not so much pleasure that I lose my foresight, but also not so much virtue that I don't know how to have fun anymore. Yeah. Look into it. Maybe it helps, man. Maybe, you know, maybe you live this conversation and you're like, oh my God, you go like a full-blown stoic, and then you like quit metal, and no, please don't do that. Yeah.
No,
but I feel it's not as fun as people think. It's fun, but it's still a job. You know, it's just a job that we love, but it's still a job. It takes a lot of effort, for sure.
Yeah. But anyway, if you, the reason we're here today is to just remind people that we have a fucking awesome song out, Rave Until the Apocalypse, and we would like your help to play it, put it on repeat, share it with your friends, all of that shit.
And the art of motorcycle maintenance. I like that comment.
Can I see that?
This guy meditates by maintaining his bike, you know? Sometimes, you know, losing yourself in the creative process, like giving love to something, music, your bicycle, whatever, your children, your friends, people around you, your garden, you know?
So, but play the song, share it with your friends, because that's how the fucking algorithms work now. They're just fucking robots and AIs, and they just go by what everybody else like. They have no taste themselves, these robots. They don't know anything about music, anything about human emotions, anything about stories, anything about life. They just go, if a lot of people click on it, then they follow. And like in my musical streaming stats, Spotify is probably, I don't know, 85-90% of all the streams. It's so big. So what Spotify decides to do is be all end all when it comes to releasing music now.
Yeah.
So
it's always the Swedish, isn't it?
Yeah, fucking Swedes. Yeah. Yeah, right. Yeah.
Love you guys, but you ruined pop. I'm so sorry. They really did. I'm so sorry. I still love like 80% of the things that come out of Sweden, but they ruined pop.
What do you mean by ruined pop? Who ruined pop? Do you, like Max Martin?
No, not Max. What's the? Is Max Morgan the producer behind all? No way.
Max Martin. That's he produced. He's one of the biggest producers in the world. He's like that's Madonna.
I mean, he nailed the formula for better or worse. So more power to him. But it's like, hey, it would be cool if he got a little bit more experimental. So maybe maybe he creates like a revolution. He's like, okay, I made enough money with this hits. Let's do like some weird stuff right now.
Yeah, but maybe he doesn't like weird stuff. Maybe like I think I haven't met him, but I think he is in it for the right reason. I do think so. I don't know, but because he's so fucking good, I can't imagine. He's got more than enough money. I can't. That's my gut feeling. Yeah. I think he loves the music he makes. I think, and he's really good at it. So. But who knows? I never met him, and I love the stuff he's made. So it was just like an example of.
I like some. I don't like others, but either way, I am able to recognize something when it is well done, even if it doesn't necessarily reach me. You know what I'm saying? It's whatever. Good production is good production. So he's definitely a great producer. Yeah. But he kind of ruined pop for me. I don't know, man. Like sometimes, I like some new stuff. I mean, I'm guilty of the same anyway. But I sometimes I miss. Maybe this is just because we're getting older. I don't know. And all the stuff that really caught you when you were a teenager. This happens to everybody. So. It's like my parents, they are like, yeah, this metal stuff, this death metal stuff, they listen to Pink Floyd. Like to them, that's music. That's what rock means, or like acid psychedelic rock or whatnot. And then to me, death metal is Morbid Angel, Cannibal Corpse, or black metal's Emperor and that stuff. And then when I hear some of the new like deathcore, metalcore bands, I just cannot connect with them. I respect them. I respect good musicianship when I hear it, but I'm like, no, man, I want to listen to, I don't know, Covenant from Morbid Angel or Morbid Visions from Sepultura. You know what I'm saying? It happens.
I can understand what you're saying. I have maybe a different approach to it because when I started music, and I think this is the same for almost everyone. You start music when you're a kid and you do it because you like how the music makes you feel. I started music. I never thought about playing concerts or earning money or anything like that. I loved music. And then I started making music and I learned that, oh shit, this is also a craft. You got to learn where to put your fingers. You gotta learn scales, and then in your like being a producer is also the same. It's just different. It's EQs and compressions and synthesizers and shit. But it's still something you gotta learn. You gotta practice it and get better. And I fell in love with the craft, and I loved so much practicing and theory and scales and shit. So my relationship to music went from the emotional part of music to the technical cerebral brain part of it. And then I was there for a long time, and I studied music, studied jazz music, studied whatever, everything. And then one day I was in the Norwegian State Academy of Music, I was studying contemporary classical music, like ping pong, that's the weird stuff, modern stuff. And I just saw that we were in a class, 10 people. We were looking at a piece of paper, like 12-tone rows, all stuff. We're just like analyzing the chart notation, and then the class was over, and we hadn't even fucking listened to the music. We were like studying. It was almost as studying a drawing by an architect. It was just visual and cerebral, and I thought, this is not what brought me to music. Music was audio and emotion. So that started the pendulum started to swing back again, and now I'm like back to where I was. Emotion is why I'm here. I'm not here for the technical stuff anymore. I was, and I love that I did it, but I'm back to emotion. I don't know why
I think I'll tell you or give you an analogy. It's
no,
like
sorry,
learning language.
The reason I said it was because some of the new stuff that you mentioned, like maybe like that really great musicians, like YouTube has brought a whole generation of fucking awesome musicians, like technically awesome, but I don't feel that they have anything to tell me, you know. Yeah. So that is like, oftentimes if something doesn't hit me, it's the lack of lived life, or lack of emotion, or lack of something to tell me. I don't give a shit if you can play all your 10 strings or 15. Fuck me. I don't. Yeah. You know.
Or like a sound design, like Marvel and like, you know, all this like intricate arrangements in electronic music. I love them, but even for those styles, I am also gravitating more and more towards like raw things. Yeah. But I think it's still good to know a little bit of everything, because ultimately it's like learning a language. Yeah. You know, it's like, imagine you learn all like the deepest Swedish. Sorry. Oh my God! See what I did there? Imagine you master Norwegian like nobody else, right? Yeah. You know every single word, like all the ancient stuff. You know like I don't know, you can speak Norse, whatever. Like, you know things that people will not be able to speak right now, and now you take all of that back into the emotional side. Then you have more tools to express yourself. Maybe it will make it a little bit complicated, but you can still put a little bit of that rawness behind it. So yeah. I also quit music school because of the same reasons. I couldn't handle this like theory, like what is this? Like people were doing like following rhythms and doing like da da da. What? No way! Give me a freaking electric guitar, man. You know. Yeah. So, but now I'm looking back, and I think it would have been good to learn a bit. You know.
Yeah, it is. I'm still kind of glad that I spent all the time. Well, I'm not sure if it was. You know, sometimes I think, now when I'm working, I love that I have spent the time learning the shit, because it makes it easier now to work. But still, maybe, you know, when I look at the musicians that I like now, or maybe some of the musicians that are most successful also, they didn't spend 20 years studying fucking theory, you know. So maybe it's not the smartest way of. I'm not gonna tell young people that the way I did it is the best way to do it, because I don't know. Sometimes I love it, sometimes I regret that I did it, but I know that, like what you're saying, you gotta know something, because like I wanted to learn how to sing, because my goal was to be able to express more emotions, have a story to tell. And my vocal ability was so shitty that it limited my ability to communicate. So I had to spend time with the technical side of learning how to sing to be able to express the emotion. So you can't get like a lot of producers now actually, I don't know, but it seems to me that there's this thing where people download a template and like FL Studio whatever, and then they download a chord pack, MIDI pack, and they download you can just put stuff together and then you kind of mumble that thing some, then you auto-tune it, and they do pretty well. So I'm kind of surprised that they managed to do it that way.
But finish something. Considering everything's been, because I think ironically, the more you have things done for you, the least you can master it, of course. So technically, if you got a lot of things being done for you. You're putting things together, and it might be like a hit and miss. But I'd rather know. So these tools are maybe, you know, because I'm also like guilty of. I mean, I don't need to use presets these days, but I've had the odd occasion where it's like, hey, this is like a great sound, or this preset's great for vocals, so screw it. You know, let's put that on top of the vocals, and it sounds great. But then, if you know something's off, then you know exactly what to change. So if you don't know it, then the presets are supposed to help you. Like all these templates are supposed to help you, not do the job for you.
I think, you know, the goal for me and for you and for a lot of people is to be in this for the long run. You know, we're in it. We're not here to be a star for 2 years. We're in it to do this for.
I'm not even interested in being a star, if I'm honest with you. But I do love money. I'm guilty of it. So call me whatever. You know. How do you call it? Like banish me into hell. I love money. You know why? Because the freaking rent is fucking unpayable these days, and the tax rates have not been adjusted for modern salaries and a modern situation. So yeah, give me all the money in the world. I don't care if nobody knows about me, but I like money. Money pays the rent.
I understand it, but my point is that if you're a young artist and you get people to make 4 hits for you and you sing all them, and then the label does promotion and it takes sexy pictures and whatever they do and videos, and you become a hit. The problem is that in 5 years, the music style what people want has changed, and maybe the producers who made those hits for you, they can't do it anymore. So you become a huge success, but you don't really know how you did it, and you can't replicate it. While you and me, we know what we've done. I can do it again, and I can probably do it better, and I can do that for 40 more years, and I don't have to rely on anyone. And that gives me a great feeling instead of
it keeps things stable, you know. Maybe not necessarily. I know what you mean. I think I'd rather have that, you know what I'm saying? Because that's another reason why I don't care if people like know who I am or not, and I care more about the money side of things. Like, you know, there are a lot of like covered millionaires out there that can, you know, happily go and buy their carrots in the supermarket and go back home, and they're happy, and maybe they travel. They don't spend money in the wrong things. They're not like flashing big mansions or pools or cars. They're just like, hey, you know, I got a couple of cool things, and otherwise then I'm just, you know what I'm saying, that like a lot of people don't know who they are. And then on the other side, imagine being Madonna and trying to buy, like, that woman cannot be herself. And that's pretty sad, you know?
It's scary. It's scary. So there should be, I think, like, now let's focus on making music.
Right? Let's focus on making music and money. Not fame, but money.
Right.
Okay, you mentioned you gotta leave in about 15 minutes, yeah? Because you're heading to. Were you headed to the airport right now?
No, tomorrow. I'm picking up my. I don't have to. I gotta leave pretty soon to pick up my 2 kids, and I was hoping for a nice sunny afternoon so I could go to the beach before I go to the US for two weeks. But it looks like it's going to be rain. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to watch the last part of the Lord of the Rings trilogy, because when I was in New Zealand, I went to the place where they filmed the Hobbiton place where the hobbits lived. So just like, okay, I'm gonna watch the movies again. So I'm gonna watch that. Yeah, it was really nice. And then I'm gonna pack my shit, and you know, usually the planes that I take, at least the last couple of weeks, have been like early in the morning. So I got to leave at some like midnight to get to the first plane in the morning. This plane is pretty good, so I'm good. Just gotta, you know, the kindergarten and the school closes. That's what I gotta catch.
Good stuff. I'd love to see a Norwegian beach someday. That's gotta be interesting. I mean, my idea of a beach is something probably very different. And ironically, I did not enjoy them enough. Like I went to the beach maybe 3 times in my whole life when I was living in Venezuela. Then I'm looking at the Caribbean beaches and I'm like, damn, I missed out on like some of the most beautiful places on earth. I'm like, shit. But I mean, I'm assuming that a Norwegian beach should be interesting. I'm assuming it's more like rocks, yeah?
Yeah, that's the traditional part. We call them svaberg, which is rocks going into the ocean. That's pretty awesome. But we do have some beaches from time to time. But yeah, rocks are like smooth rocks. That basically they're rocks where the glacier has kind of like been sliding down and kind of eroded and chiseled away, so
Bro,
it's smooth.
let's make a show in Norway. I'll stay there for a month. I don't care about the cash. I just want to I have not seen Norway, and I feel like I'm doing myself and Norway a disservice by not being there.
We should make a show like we spoke about. We should make a show with Shining and Zardonic in Norway.
Hell yeah. That sounds like a plan. All right, brother, man. Well, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you for joining us. It's, I'm really happy and proud to call you a friend, and thank you for working on those tracks. And yeah, anytime you need me, let me know. I think there's going to be some new cool stuff to do for sure.
I hope so. Let's talk soon.
Right.
And then thanks to everyone who joined the live stream. Join if you came here from my side, follow Zardonic, and if you came from Zardonic's side, follow my shit and see if you like it.
Yes, go. Okay. Go follow Jørgen, follow Shining, play your songs, give us streams, and yeah, have a good day.
Have a good day. See ya. Bye.
Have a good one.